Jason Hewlett out of Youngstown, Ohio. This is another Steve Clinkscale special. This is Clink's hometown. And Steve and Brice, this is a guy who I fully anticipate if Michigan pulls him, this is one of those hidden gem or under the radar guys that we're going to be talking about down the line.
We kind of talked about him a little bit, I think last podcast, but if we didn't, he's a now former Cincinnati commit. And the reason why he kind of flew under the radar for his recruitment is because Sam, he broke his leg his junior year. So that basically, wiped out his junior year. And that's a very pivotal moment for high school recruitments because a lot of, teams want to see that film. And so he came back, he recovered, and he's had an awesome senior to the point where Allen and 24/7 Sports talked it over and they bumped him up to a 90. And I
Right.
think he's a 4-star now. So he just like I said, he just decommitted. He did take a visit kind of quietly under the radar for the Illinois game. He came up with his teammate DJ Waller, who Michigan's in that recruitment very heavily for. And at the same time, you talk about a guy that can make a difference though early. I think Jason's one of those players.
Man.
He's
How,
got the tools, he's got the length, he's got the speed, he's got the size, and he's a guy that he just when you watch him play too, he plays, you know, angry. He plays hard, he plays physical, he plays intense, he plays aggressive. And I know obviously Don Brown loved aggressive players too, but when you watch this defense, he would fit in perfectly. And again, I think the theme here is not only Ohio recruiting, but it's versatility. A lot of these guys you can move. It's not like they're pigeonholed to one, spot you have to play, and that's all he can play. I think you can move Jason around a couple spots there. And so again, this is a recruitment. I think if Michigan can steal, this is what we're talking about, building that momentum, starting to flip some of these guys, and overall starting to see this class come together.
yeah, this one hits different, Steve. I think this can be an impact guy for Michigan. Now, maybe it's edge, but he's athletic enough. He could be a will, a big will. He can run. He's physical. I like this. If Michigan picks up, this will be a guy that I think fans maybe won't appreciate as much as they should. Maybe because he got his 4th star, Steve. They will, but I'm glad that our analysts have picked up on it. The other networks haven't, but ours clearly have, and I think the Wolverines are on to something. Chasing Jason Hewlett.
Probably of the Ohio guys we'll talk about, he's probably my favorite prospect of the four. And yeah, you talk about going from an 87 to a 90. I know, I believe Allen bumped up Trey Pierce from an 85 to an 89. These kind of trends are almost always indicative of, that number, the second number, the new number is almost always the better representative. You don't see guys moving up their senior year unless there's tangible improvement on the film. So to see a guy go from an 87 to a 90 a year after an injury really, was a pretty big setback for him. I think bodes well both for, Michigan, like outsmarting or getting in on a guy like this, and B, for a guy that can make an impact earlier rather than later.